In Burbank, where I guess you could call it a flash mob car show at the Empire Center in Burbank. Let's go up to Stu Mundell and Sky 9. Stu, what's going on out there?
Well, Rick, Sharon, I am a huge car enthusiast, and I've never seen something like this before. You've got about a couple of thousand, as far as we can figure. We've been trying to count them all out here at the Empire Center in Burbank. Now, this is social media at its finest. You know, I actually saw one of these ads on Craigslist earlier on. Apparently, there's been some tweeting going on.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cards and Chatter. Today, we have a special guest, but before we get into it, just want to say thank you to Simon and Straight Out Body Shop for allowing us to use the spot. And Elijah, thank you for the song once again. Appreciate it. Love it. Thank you. And Caesar, thank you for hooking us up with them. Of course. All right. Today we got Jeremy with us. Jeremy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Let's see. Let's get this a little closer.
There you go.
Been in the car scene probably over 10 years.
Okay.
Doing shows, events, marketing, behind some of the big brand car meets that you see. So one of them is going to be Rides and Coffee.
Okay.
That was one of my projects when I worked for Chemical Guys.
Okay.
And then worked behind Formula Drift, Hot Import Nights, VIP Auto Fashion in like the 2000s, the early 2000s. And then in the mid 2000s, started really going hard on my my meet that turned into a big deal called Krispy Kreme Tuesdays.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, because I know the people that need to know, but a lot of people still don't know. I think the number was estimated, 15,000?
Bodies.
About 4,000 cars.
4,000 to 5,000 cars.
Yeah, and I think, you guys should have seen the clip before we started the episode, so that was kind of a big deal. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I believe that year was 2011.
Okay.
It was after a hiatus, so I took a little bit of a break. Took about 2-3 years break, mainly just because law enforcement was on my ass, especially Burbank PD.
Not just Burbank PD though.
Glendale, Pasadena, North Hollywood, basically any station in the valley was. I was target number one when it comes to car events. So I calmed down, decided to pop it up for a week. I think actually, no, it might have been like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Put it out there. It blew up, went viral. And then next thing you know, Stu Mundell caught a helicopter clip of him over it. And you could just see how massive it was. That took over the whole city.
I think here's one of the differences between Krispy Kreme Tuesdays, and I think that was one of the main reasons I actually did attend the event back then. It was because it wasn't a takeover. It was more of a park and chill and get to know everybody type of thing. And anybody that stepped out of line
Got yelled at
or kicked out.
Yeah,
as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the best things about the show or about the event, and a lot of people seem to forget that.
Yeah. This was just before, I guess, street racing really started becoming another problem. This is 2011-ish, so this is when I don't want to really give the group too much notoriety, but there was a group in the valley basically going around and street racing and trying to be the counterculture, I guess you could say. And they came to the event a year later to start doing donuts in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And that's really when it marked the downhill turn.
I think I remember that because back then we used to, well, you've known me quite some time, we used to host some big events. And they decided they were going to crash one of the events, and didn't turn out too well because the word got to us before they even showed up. And I know exactly who you're talking about, 818, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we can mention the names because I think they're non-existent nowadays.
I think they're still around.
Okay.
I don't know officially. I do remember commenting on something, kind of firing back one time, saying that I'll outlast you.
Yeah.
What I do lasts for years. What you're doing has a timeline on it.
I mean, here's the one thing that Caesar and I like to preach. We don't condone any of that street takeover, anything like that. We don't condone none of that bull crap. And the reason we don't condone it is because I'll give you a perfect example. The last time I drove my personal car was 5 months ago. Just because sole fact that anytime I get into that car, as soon as I work in Glendale, don't get me wrong, I work in Glendale. So as soon as I get into Glendale, I have to take side streets, back streets, whatever you can imagine just to get to work. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. And also, it destroys the call culture. Just because you did a monthly delete and cut your springs and whatnot doesn't mean you're a car enthusiast.
Most of the people that are going to takeovers aren't even doing that.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
They're
They're just
literally
beater cars. They're just trying to waste tire. Basically.
yeah, beater cars, buying used tires. The used tire community has probably benefited the most out of takeovers.
I know a lot of tire shops in the valley that would actually agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's events that we see on Instagram and social media and YouTube, and it's really sad because a lot of these YouTube content creators, whatever you want to call them, they benefit so much off of, recording all these street takeovers and whatnot, and a lot of people seem just to follow that trend. I don't understand it
You're just giving them more attention.
Yeah.
That's what they want. You're not helping solve the issue. You're just creating a bigger issue by giving them the attention that they're looking for.
Yeah.
Because none of them condone it. I mean, when do you hear these people that are very high up and actually get looked up to actually condone takeovers? They don't want a bad rap.
You're absolutely right. And it's funny because I was watching a live video of Origin Ozaku. I don't know if you say I don't know if I'm saying it correctly.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
They had a live Instagram the other day. I think it was yesterday. They were talking about the whole DDD car crash.
They were street racing.
Well, DD. I don't know if DDE
We
was.
can't say officially.
Well, I don't know if DDE was street racing or not. But that Challenger RT, whatever it was, didn't even look like an RT to me. It just might have had the badges. Didn't belong in that event, as far as what they're saying.
Yeah.
Because a bunch of kids found out where the event was, or they posted it for the first time as far as where the event was. They street takeover guys showed up, and this is the outcome, basically.
That all sounds like a giant excuse.
I can't say anything because I wasn't there. Can't really say anything about it. But to me, at the end of the day, what happened on the 6th Street Bridge, and I'm not going to name names.
That's terrible, man. We finally got a nice thing in LA, and they just shut it down the first week.
Yeah, that was uncalled for.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, this has been creating a big issue. And the other, I want to kind of go back to who benefits and who doesn't. I think the state benefits off of the takeover issue because it gives them a scapegoat to go after the car community. It's optics. If I pull you over, your car looks modified. If you were to take that up to let's just say a jury, they're going to look at your car visually and assume, oh no, that guy definitely does something with his car.
You have a target on your back as soon as you add anything to your car.
So as soon as you could just do tints, and let's not point fingers, but certain cities, automatically you're just bad guy.
Mm-hmm. You can't even go to Hermosa Beach. You go to Hermosa Beach, there's signs that say no modified exhaust. You go to Palos Verdes, there's a sign that was put there by someone that owns property that probably donates to a politician that says no loud exhaust, including motorcycles.
But you have expensive cars in PV.
Oh, they're super expensive cars. But again, the optics of fixing the problem can't be taken out by takeovers because the police won't enforce on takeovers. They barely enforce on them because they're going to fight back. They're going to throw beer cans. There's probably a high amount of guns in the crowd.
Enclose the police officers. Everybody just surrounds them so that the people that are doing what they're doing can take off and whatnot.
If I'm an officer and I'm getting paid $65,000 a year and I have the choice between pulling you over, who's probably going to be cool, and the choice between pulling over the guy in the takeover from East LA, no offense, East LA, I'm going to choose you.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny. You said that the reason I stopped driving the car was I about 5-6 months ago, I got pulled over, and I won't say what city, but listen, I get it. They give us a bad name, and sometimes people like us take the bad end of the bat. But he pulled me over. He started talking to me for about a good like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and he goes, "You seem like a cool guy." And I told him I appreciate that, but he goes, I'm under a lot of pressure, and I gotta cite you. He wrote me 6 tickets. He wrote me 6 tickets.
For everything he probably could.
For everything he could, but the funny thing is, the major things he didn't write me on, which was cool about it. And I'm not going to say the city. I'm not.
I wouldn't even tell. I wouldn't show
And thank you for not showing up. But he was cool about it. He wrote the ticket. He goes, "You seem like a cool dude." I told him, "Listen, here's my YouTube channel. Here's this. Here's that. You'll see. We don't condone any of that stuff. We don't appreciate it. We don't like it. We don't want it. But unfortunately, it's there." And me and Caesar were actually talking the other day. He saw one of my comments on one of the videos from the Chicago video.
What was the Chicago video?
Just somebody's taking over. They're doing a takeover. I guess takeovers are becoming a big thing now in Chicago too.
Yeah.
And there's like this very high drone footage, and some guy was saying that this is becoming the new car scene or something like that.
Yeah.
But he seemed very confident in what he was saying.
Oh yeah, the dude, he was claiming the whole thing. Like he goes, "This is us. This is where we're at. This is what it's gonna be, et cetera, et cetera." And unfortunately, I can guarantee you, he's no older than 2021.
They don't know any better.
They don't.
And then the other issue is if they think that's going to be the one and only thing in the car community, just wait till the laws start getting passed.
I mean, laws are already passing.
Seriously,
They're already passing.
hard enough for
it's already
us.
getting harder in California alone.
Oh yeah.
You touch your ECU, and you're already flagged on smog.
Yeah.
Which basically flags the car.
Absolutely.
And flags you and every other thing.
Oh, I heard that it actually flags your driver license.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, I heard that they actually put like a note in their system. The funny thing is, I knew this a long time ago, about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, a cop told me they actually have like a chat system in the car where they sit and chat with one another, like cop to cop, right? And he actually showed me they can actually put a note on your driver license so the next cop that pulls you over knows exactly what's going on, what to expect, et cetera, et cetera.
I've seen some of the tickets they don't show you.
Yeah.
And it'll log everything from the stickers you have on your car, if you have racing seats, roll cages.
And if you have tattoos, they take pictures of your tattoos and it shows it on your file.
I mean,
Oh, you could go for it.
when they started investigating me, I was under gang unit because they didn't have a unit. They said
They just had to throw you into one.
yeah, they throw you into gang units.
Yeah, I remember getting into it with a Armenian Burbank police officer. The guy thought he was high and mighty, but sure enough, found out, he's got to know who he's talking to before he starts talking.
Well, it's good that you're bringing that up, but people need to understand they need to fight.
Oh, absolutely.
When you get pulled over, don't fight it there because you're not going to win.
You're not
there.
going to win.
Fight it in court.
Yep.
Fight it in court. And there's plenty of information online on how to fight in court. There's people that will fight for you in court. If everyone fought, they would look for another money stream.
Shout out to this ticket dismissers.
Yeah. So he's been very active. He does very well.
Just keep them employed.
I don't know him personally,
Neither do I.
but I know he's very busy. But we need to educate people.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is, these kids, when they get pulled over and they start loud-mouthing to these cops, one thing you got to remember, when these cops are done writing you a ticket, they go back in their cars and they write a nice little summary of the entire stop. And when you go to court, that summary, the judge sees it. Whether you were nice or you cursed at him or you told him to go fuck himself or whatever the case is. Sorry, Caesar's mom, I don't know if you're listening.
It's all good.
But, I've always told everybody, unless the cop is a major a-hole to you, don't give him a reason to keep the stop going any longer or start looking for other stuff. Because at the end of the day, he's not the decision maker. He's just writing a citation as what he's told to do. And they do have some sort of quotas to meet. And sometimes, you end up being the bad apple.
It's like you already got pulled over. You're the one that's going to determine how bad you're going to get raped by getting pulled over.
Oh yeah.
That's what it comes down to. If you're cool, he'll be cool with you. If you're a jerk to him, he's going to keep on going, keep on going.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes they give you how bad you want it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Because I tried to deny access to my hood. And they said, you sure about that? Because if you do, we're going to tow your car. So then I waited till the supervisor arrived, and he said, we'll give you two choices. You don't pop it, we tow it. You pop it, I'll let you go. I was handcuffed already. I was in the back seat at that point. So what do you choose? Tow the car and then pay more for the tow fee and everything else, or take the slap, pop the hood, and go home?
Yeah. February, I think it was January of 2020, right before the whole lockdown started. I got pulled over by motor unit by LAPD. Not a lot of people know. If you see the bicycle patch on LAPD, they're traffic. They're strictly traffic.
That's all they do.
If they pull you over, you're getting a ticket. Mm-hmm. That's how it is. If they pull you over, you're getting a ticket.
Any motorcycle.
Any motorcycle. And he pulled me over. He goes, "Hey, dude, just want to let you know you weren't speeding. You didn't do anything wrong. You were actually driving pretty good. But I heard you about half a mile away." I looked at him. I'm like, "What do you mean you heard me half a mile away?" I'm cruising 30 miles an hour downhill on the brake. What do you mean you heard me half a mile away? Anyways, he goes, "Pop your hood." I go, "Okay, I'll pop my hood." I got nothing in there except intakes. And back then I had blow-off valves, which were not even functioning. I showed it to him. They weren't functioning. They were just in place. I just had to install the hoses. I actually ran down to get the hoses and go back home and install it. Mm-hmm. He goes, "Well, these are emission issues." I go, "Well, the intakes are from Infinity. There's no emission issue there." And,
AMS?
Huh?
AMS, I'm assuming? Yeah.
And, blow-off valves are not functioning, as you can see. He goes, "Well, I'm still going to cite you for it."
Yeah.
I go, "Okay, go ahead and cite me for it, but I'm going to win this in court." He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "I'm going to win it in court. It's an OEM product, and the blow-off valves are not functioning."
They're carb legal.
He goes, "It's your word against mine." I go, "You really want to play that game?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Just to let you know, everything's being recorded via audio and video." He goes, "Where?" I go, "There's a dash cam right there, front and back, the entire time. For the past 30 minutes, it's been recording me driving with no sound coming from my car. So if you want to be a dick, I can be a bigger dick." So what I'm trying to say is, if you can back up your case, back it up. But if you have to do it then and there to show it to him that, he's stepping out of line, he's using his badge to overpower you, whatever the case is, sometimes it's better to do it in court because then the judges see it. But I'm a little stubborn. Sometimes I like to get ahead of myself and
Just a little bit.
slap him around a little bit here and there. And later I found out the guy was actually in training, and his TO was sitting in the car watching the whole thing. But he still wrote the ticket.
Still wrote the ticket.
Still wrote the ticket, even though his TO told him not to write the ticket.
Well, it's for them, the burden of proof that is more than likely going to fall in their favor. An officer can literally tell you, my ears are trained better than yours because I'm in the car all day.
Oh, yeah. I know. But here's the cool thing. The ticket got automatically dismissed. I didn't even have to show up to court because of the lockdowns.
Oh, you got lucky.
Yeah, and what the fun thing is, on the due date, I showed up to court. I go, "I have this thing." He goes, "Oh, they're not even going to bother taking you in." He goes, "Just give us a check, we'll refund you." And I gave him a check. 2-3 months later, I got a check in the mail.
Was that for an exhaust ticket?
Yeah.
See, and you're lucky the law got overturned.
Yeah. The exhaust law got overturned by the way.
Yeah, if AB 1824 stayed, we would have all been in deeper trouble.
Oh, dude. I mean, here's the thing. It was a perfect example. I think it was the lawyers for SEMA that actually did that. And one of the things that I didn't understand is, like, for example, the Porsches, the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, they're going to be over 98 decibels regardless.
Hellcat. Which is more popular.
Yeah.
Hellcat. It's we tested it from factory. It's over.
Yeah. I mean, Infinities, depending on which one, factory is at like 89. Even though it's quiet as...
Our cars?
Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah.
Our cars sound like
I'm
Prius.
not going to...
Yeah. Anyways.
I'm not incriminating myself on that one.
It's for episode 2.
Back to the whole car scene. Oops, sorry. Back to the whole car scene. What do you see happening with the whole car scene if things continue the way they're continuing?
I mean, you haven't even really been participating too much in it.
No, I have not.
So that says a lot.
Yeah.
You went from a high participator to a low participator.
I went to no participator.
Yeah, yeah. It was like Teef trying to get you to come out to Pasadena.
Yeah.
And you didn't even come out.
Yeah, I've been trying to get him to my event, and he won't come out.
Yeah, see?
Bro, your events are an hour away from me.
Where are your events?
Corona.
They're not too bad.
See?
Okay.
You got a fast car.
Yeah, but come on.
On paper, too.
How many tickets do you think I'm gonna get by the time I get to Corona?
Is Corona like Riverside County?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
they got-
never mind. Screw
they
that.
got
Sorry,
RSO
I wouldn't
out
go
there.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he has RSO. So I had an experience with RSO a couple months ago.
Okay.
We were all at a car meet permitted by the business, and the dude literally started harassing everyone. The moment you pulled out, he pulled you over.
Yep.
The moment someone pulled in, he pulled you over.
Yep.
And he didn't care what it was. He just wrote whatever he could.
Yep.
And he would just write. He would just ref everyone.
Yep.
Because he doesn't have to prove it right then and there, but you do. So now and then he tells people, "Oh yeah, you can't drive your car." How is that creating a productive society?
You know, I've had that happen to me where he cited me and he told me I can't drive my car. I told him to go fuck himself. I got back in my car and drove off.
Well, yeah, they say you could drive it home.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to me that they even say that, because here you go, you're pulling someone over that has to be from middle class to upper class. Let's be real. You know, most people aren't dropping 10 grand in their car if they work at McDonald's. No offense to McDonald's workers. But you're over here telling him now you can't go to work? What if that's their only car?
Yeah. So the cop that told me, and I'm talking about 12 years ago, or 14 years ago, actually. The cop that told me that I can't drive my car was a CHP officer. And the one part he messed up was he punched a hole on my driver license on the spot, and he kept the license.
He's not supposed to do
Yeah,
that.
he's not supposed to do that. So I got cited on Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Following Friday, I had DMV court. So I showed up to court, and the judge goes, "I'm going to suspend your license." And the lawyer already told me what to say. And he goes, "Where's your license?" I go, "The officer has it." Turns around to the officer. He goes, "Do you really have his license?" And you could see the look on his face.
He's like, uh-oh,
He's like,
Yeah. about
"Shit."
that.
I overstepped.
Yeah, and the judge goes, "You know what? You just let him walk." And you know, I'll admit the guilt to it. I shouldn't have been driving as fast as I was, but it was dead empty.
He was going 66 and a 65.
No, dude, I was going 65 and a half in the 65.
Daredevil.
But anyways, that's neither here or there. We've learned from our mistakes. One thing I've never done is street racing, period. I don't care how good of a driver you are. I don't care how fast you are, how good of a car you have. One thing you don't want to do is put somebody else's life in danger. And it doesn't have to be the car next to you. It doesn't have to be the person next to you. It could be somebody on the street, a family walking down the street. And we've there was a video circulating on social media. It actually happened here in Glendale. And I'll pop it up for you guys to see it right now. The guy was running from the cops and smashed into one car that took out 3 or 4 cars altogether.
Yeah, street racing's it's not built for the streets.
No.
Just in that aspect. No. Your car, especially today, you know, we're talking thousands now. It's a 1,000 horsepower game, and it comes to dragging. Those tires and those cars aren't meant to hook on the streets. No. They're meant to hook on a track.
Yep. But let me ask you a question. I mean, I've brought this up to several people, you know. I've even asked some of these street takeover guys, not the hosts, but participants, why not pay that $20 and go to Irwindale and do as many donuts as you want?
Because they're not doing it for that. They're doing it for the
adrenaline.
The adrenaline.
Of getting caught.
Of getting caught what? With a basic-ass car?
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know.
They want the backstory. They want to be able to say, "Oh yeah, I did this and I didn't get caught."
I never understood it. I still
never will.
Till this day I don't understand. But what I see is your mommy and daddy paying for a car, you're drifting it on the street and calling it your own, getting a ticket, smashing into people, smashing into cars. you're not a driver, period. You're not a car enthusiast to me. I don't care who you are.
You're a troublemaker enthusiast.
The worst part is when you see the accidents that happen at these takeovers. Like people get hit, gets into the hospital, people die.
Yeah.
Like, and for what?
Like that kid, well, he didn't pass away, thank God, but like that kid that fell in front of that G35 in New York. The coupe.
There's so many.
People getting ran over, and for what? You know, you trip, so what? Now you're stuck on the floor. Then here comes the car. You can't get up fast enough. Boom.
That's another thing that I don't understand is like that poor kid that fell in front of that car. He literally had his entire face ripped off. You could see it in the video. He's like choking on his own blood, and there's these guys just with their phones recording the whole thing. Like, what is wrong with you people? Your buddy just got hit. He's dying on the floor, and you're over here like laughing.
Well, look how they turn against each other.
Oh, dude.
It's like when a car hits another car, the people start jumping on the car. They start ripping off parts, poking tires,
Breaking
trying to
windows.
breaking the windows, trying to pull the driver out. There's no community there.
Oh no, there is no community.
That's for them to sit there and say, "It's a community. It got me out of gangs. It keeps me out of trouble." What do you mean it keeps you out of trouble? You're causing the trouble.
Yeah, it's a good thing you actually brought that up. I want to talk a little about secret society. Tell us a little bit.
So, obviously, I've been doing this stuff for a long time.
Yep.
I saw that there was a need.
Okay.
So there was a need to show that there, like, unfortunately, the us versus them thing is real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if anyone's going to sit there and say it isn't real, that's silly. Because officers do it. Government does it. It's always the us versus them. But I wanted to create a group that instead of the us versus them tries to bridge the gap. And starts trying to bring enthusiasts to work more with law enforcement, to work more with government,
Okay.
and also do good at the same time, which is work with charities. Because if we need any change in this world, it's going to come from organizations like Salvation Army, Wounded Warriors. You know, those are the people that are actually trying to make the differences in this world, but they just need more backing. So that's
Just
what
bodies.
I know the
Bodies.
Pasadena event was with Salvation Army.
Salvation
Group.
Army.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it is it's invite only.
Yes.
You have to be invited. You can't just show up.
If you find it, you can show up, but we're going to see who you are.
Yeah.
And if we see that you're going to take over stuff, your ticket's going to get denied.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I've seen you post that majority of the, I don't know, majority or all of the money that you take in goes to charities.
A good percent.
Okay.
So we do anywhere from 20 to 40% depending on the event.
Okay.
So it just depends.
As long as you cover your cost, the remaining goes to
Yes.
charity.
Yeah. I
Okay.
like to cover the cost. I like to pay people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things being in the car scene for so long, there's a lot of people that don't get paid.
correct.
You know, models,
Yeah.
DJs, staff, promoters. A lot of these car events do not pay their people properly. They're the ones taking all the money. Me, it's like I realistically, you know, probably take about 10%, if that, I
Okay.
get to keep. And it's just to keep it going.
Yeah.
Obviously, numbers is a big deal. So we're trying to grow the numbers because as we grow the numbers, I get to take home a little bit more.
That's cool. I mean, as for how many events have you guys had so far?
Gosh, we do anywhere from 10 to 12 events a year.
Nice.
10 to 12. That's a good number.
That's not including what I do behind the scenes with Krispy Kreme and if I help a business.
Did you bring some donuts?
No,
When he
but
says
I've been
Krispy
eating
Kreme-
a lot of them.
You know, back in the day when Krispy Kreme was ongoing full effect, I think we were doing 3 major events. And when I say we, I mean FS Forum. One of the largest, if not the largest, Infinity communities in the U.S. back then. But we had 3 major events, and I think we were hosting the Bob's Big Boy Meets back then. I thought, damn, I totally forgot about that.
You did. You were also doing the Nissan Infinity event,
Yeah,
which was big,
yeah.
and you did a cruise even.
Did I do a cruise?
Yeah, you do a cruise once in a while. I think that was in the beginning, the early days.
Yeah, see,
I remember when
don't
you
know.
were walking around with it was like 3 of you.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We did actually 2 cruises, and then we stopped because people just kept getting lost.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a lot of people, it's hard.
Yeah,
And then also, it's not worth the risk.
it's not. It really isn't.
You got
But
GTRs too.
but oh yeah, I do remember my GTR.
Well, you had GTRs attending the cruise. It takes one person with a G35 that thinks they're hanging out to crash into one of those, and now
Yeah,
it's no longer a fun event.
but I do remember. I do know that every event we hosted, we actually had insured. We had about on the cruises itself, the insurance was for life and for the vehicle, and I think it was about $3 million.
You went high.
Yeah.
Yeah, we insure our events. That's the best way.
Yep. And it's not that expensive. It's like
No, it's not that
$120 an event.
It's just, I think the other issue I have as an event producer is people misusing words
Oh yeah.
and saying things like, this is a permitted event.
Oh
Where's your permits?
no.
Who did you talk to? What city knows about it? Because if it's a permanent event, that means I'm going to show up and no officers are going to have any issues.
Oh yeah.
Most of these events are not permitted.
No, they're not.
Like 90% of them aren't permitted.
I want to say more than 90%. I want to say about 95%.
I was trying to be nice.
I'm not nice. We've learned that.
Meet in the middle, 92.5.
Okay, 92 and a half. I just want to talk a little bit about, as far as, I don't know how to put it so I don't piss off people.
Fuck it, piss them off. As long as it's truthful.
Have you seen the last few episodes that we did? There's a lot of pissing off.
Oh, yeah.
As long as it's honest. If it's honest, too bad.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. So what do you think of the cars that attend these sideshows, and what do you think of the cars that attend the actual car shows?
It changed a lot. When between 2003 and 2016, it was a builder's game. It was like craziness. What crazy things can you do that are unique?
Yeah.
I think the main changer, excuse me, is Instagram. Once Instagram started getting full swing, the build styles started changing. And this was just around, no offense to the stance guys, this was just around the stance time when it became, my build needs to be the best Instagram build and not for me.
It's for everybody
It's
else.
for everybody.
That was deep.
Yeah.
And that's what changed it. Because now it became, oh, you got rotiform wheels? Well, that guy's got rotiform wheels. I need those.
I remember the ADV1 days.
ADV started off as a rep company, correct?
Yeah.
So now to see where they are now is insane to me because I remember I was like, wait, back in the day, everyone would talk crap about anything replica. It was either you had Works, some rotiform, TEs, BBS. BBS was really popular. HREs.
Now nobody can afford BBS.
Oh, jeez.
You build on the way.
Did you see the Subaru that recently crashed in the dealership? Was out here, right?
He was here in Glendale. What happened with that?
I don't know.
Do you know the story behind it?
No, someone said they were trying to pull an insurance job before they got home.
Or the car had stickers on it.
But it's in Glendale.
Exactly.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's funny. That is actually funny. The fact that it would happen in Glendale is not funny, but somebody trying to pull an insurance job before they get home is a funny part.
Yeah, in Glendale.
In Glendale. Oh my God. Did you know if you live in Glendale and if you have a Glendale zip code, your insurance automatically yearly probably goes up about $600-700 automatically?
I believe it. I mean, isn't it top 10 hit and run?
Yeah.
Damn.
Top 10 hit and run. And the messed up part about it is, Wawanesa actually started canceling people's insurances in Glendale.
They're not that good anyways.
Excuse me. I should be careful on how I say that. I'll retract what I said. Certain insurance companies, not just the one that I mentioned, are actually starting to cancel people's insurance policies depending on the car that they drive. I heard from a source that some insurance companies won't actually even insure you if you have a G-Wagon in Glendale.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably because of theft, too.
Yeah.
Theft and all the other stuff.
I mean, I don't know what the case is, but I'm not surprised.
No, not surprised at all.
Yeah.
I think we'll get to a point where we'll stop. Once you have X amount of modified tickets, they'll probably stop insuring you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think they're going to actually put a number on that.
Because that's why they can't. That's the one thing that's letting it survive.
Yeah.
Is that, yes, you could pay the ticket, and realistically, you could keep on doing what you're doing. But if they make it to where it starts racking up points, we're going to have an issue. Don't get any ideas.
Yeah. Don't get any ideas, guys.
Because we'll vote you out.
Time to start an insurance company.
Hey, you remember what I used to do? Well, not just me, but everybody else. If you attended a car event, a car meet, not a car show, like not a legitimized, permitted, insured car show. You remember what we used to do if you acted out?
Take pictures.
Yeah. We used to take pictures of the license plates and them and the car and post it.
Yeah, and you could also send it. You just send
Yeah.
it to the local law enforcement because the evidence is all there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it's all there.
And the funny thing is, we were running around making sure the event was going good, and we didn't even have to do anything. People on the sides were just, recording the whole thing.
Yeah, but when we were doing it, the scene was a lot more respectful.
Yeah.
Oh, the scene was way more respectful. Yeah. We had people like Paul Garcia back then. Shout out to him. Drove a mean GTR, and then he got a McLaren. I don't know what he drove. Oh, he has a Supra and a Skyline nowadays, I think. 2JZ. But I don't know where he's at right now, but shout out to him. Car scene has changed a lot, and I don't know what's going to happen if it continues the way it does continue. And the sad part is there's less of us, like people like us, than there is more of them, because they just want to attend those shows. They don't have to pay to get in. They don't have to build their cars. They just go and swing it, and they think they're cool. But what they don't realize is when the time comes and they want to build a car, they're not going to be able to. That's the way I see it.
Do they even understand what building is?
I don't think so, but
I talked to a kid recently in Griffith Park. I was with me and a couple friends, a couple members actually. We were shooting a music video, and this kid came up to us, was talking to us about the cars. He's like, "Oh, those are really nice cars," and we got into small talk. I was like, "Yeah, so what do you go to? Do you go to those takeovers?" He goes, "No, me and my dad are in the lowrider scene." He's like, "And those takeovers are making it harder for us to get together." Mm-hmm. I was like, "Well, do you have friends that go to takeovers?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Why do they go to the takeovers, you think?" He's like, "Because that's all they know." You could die on me.
yeah, I'm good. I think.
Yeah, that's all they know. So, and I guess this is going to be kind of a call out to anyone that's old school.
Excuse me.
Anyone that's old school, they need to start coming out. The problem is if you're scared of the ticket.
I'm off the clock and I can't save your life. Just give you a heads up.
Bro, you're not even a real nurse.
I'm not a nurse, thank God. I'm just kidding. No offense to nurses.
It's a hard world right now being a nurse.
Oh, yeah, it is. Shout out to nurses everywhere in the world.
Shout out to the nurses.
But,
you miss it.
I do miss it. I miss driving my car. I miss going to events. And I hate the fact that excuse me, I feel like I'm getting teary-eyed, but
Well, I
I'm
did
not.
bring you tea.
Oh, yeah, you did, but it's all the way over there. Anyways, I do miss the fact that I didn't have to make excuses to go to car events or not go to car events. Mm-hmm. It was either I'm going or I'm not going. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. But now it's like I have to make up excuses.
You told me about the one where it was a police and helicopters, and the police went crazy on the attendees.
Huntington Beach.
Cars and copters?
Yeah. Cops were giving tickets left and right.
Oh, the one that happened not that long ago?
Yeah.
We went to one a few years ago before COVID.
Yeah. They were giving tickets left and right.
Oh, yeah. And Cars and Copters brings out the craziest cars that are out there, like Koenigsegg, Bugattis, and everything. And they were citing them. It's like,
Yeah. I think DDE even posted a video of them getting cited.
they get tickets everywhere they go.
Again, that's for optics.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. This is the optics of we're trying to fix the takeover issue. but they can't write those people tickets. So who are they going to write them?
To
People
the
like
nice
you.
guys, yeah.
People like me. People that are driving nice cars. That's who they're going to write the tickets to.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a shame. It's a shame that politicians accept that as the fix, because they know the public is uneducated on what's the difference between takeovers and car enthusiasts.
Yep. Yep. Well, I feel like if we keep this going, this episode is going to turn into a 2-hour episode.
How long is it supposed to be?
Well, we usually keep it about an hour, so we don't keep everybody bored out of their minds. We're at about, 42 minutes or 40 minutes?
What do you want to know? I know there's probably something bugging you.
I don't know. I think I know everything that I need to know. I usually know more than I'm supposed to know. That's a sad part. But, yeah, I mean, we'll keep it going for another maybe 5-10 minutes, and then we'll call it a day. We'll always bring you back because you're local anyway, so.
What do you want to see, man? What do you want to see come out of the car scene right now? What future do you want?
Honestly, I don't want the future. I want the past when it comes to the car scene.
Ooh, that was deep.
I don't want a future
Preach it,
because
brother.
He was like, preach.
Serious. Dun, dun.
I don't want a future for the car scene because there is no future for the car scene. As long as you have these politicians sitting on their asses pushing a piece of paper and a pencil and fucking their best friends' wives and then marrying them, we're not going to get anywhere.
Well, we need to come together as enthusiasts and start holding people accountable for the laws they push.
Here's the issue. The laws that they push are asinine to a certain extent. I understand why they're doing it, but when I say I want the past for the car scene now and ongoing, I'm talking about the days where we could go inside the Panda parking lot in the old days, 50 to 100 cars, sit, chill, eat, drink, or when I say drink, non-alcoholic, but
Without having to look over your shoulder.
without having to look over your shoulder. Yeah, I mean, I just want that old life back because the way I see it, look at what England's doing. 2030, you're not allowed to have a gas-powered car after 2030. You have to have an electric by then. Don't get me wrong. Some people like electric cars. Some don't. I'm the type that will tell you, fuck them.
He hates my Tesla.
Well, our grid can't handle it.
Huh?
Our grid can't handle it.
Oh, no.
We learned,
Summertime, it was torture.
I have some.
Don't charge your car during the day. It's like, what?
I have some friends that work for LADWP, and they were going to the neighborhoods for the problems that had the most electric cars, because people were charging their cars and it was overheating the grid.
But they were told not to.
Rules for you and not for me.
I was still charging my car.
And let's be real.
You're part of the problem.
I had to get home.
You're part of the
And
problem.
why should we even dictate that on people? We're not geared up for a full swing over to electric.
We're not.
We should just allow a slow, gradual move.
It's like putting a due date. It's not going to solve the issue.
Yeah, putting a due date is stupidity.
If Elon Musk tells you not to go all electric, that tells you something.
Well, we should look into who, chase the money.
Oh, let's not get into that, please. Let's not get into that. Caesar, do you have anything to add?
Going back to like what you were talking about as far as the way that you build the car and stuff like that, I think these days people aren't really doing research. They just want to ask somebody a million questions without actually going on the forums, typing in questions. Just do research for yourself and then ask the questions.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody just wants all the answers given to them right off the bat. I mean, I get questions all the time. People are like, hey, what's this? What's that? It's like the most basic stuff when it comes to their car. Like, I get it. You just got your car, but go read something. Go look it up. Try and understand your car before you start building it.
Become an enthusiast.
Exactly. I can't give you all the answers. Don't get me wrong. I'm too nice to tight to not give you the answers, but it's like, go do your research. Before I even got my Q60, I joined the forums. I was doing research on the parts, what I could do, the potential, following car pages. That's how I found CPON. I'm like, I want my car to look like his. You know what I mean? Like, what's the potential behind these cars? And then I started, I got my car, and well, there it is now.
Yep. And it's one of the nicest Q60s out there.
It's work in progress.
It's always a work in progress.
That's why I want people like yourself to come out more, because it's not just about you coming out. It's about you inspiring someone to get into it. Because if not, our scene will die.
Dude, I feel like it's, I told myself this coming year I'm going to attend a lot more shows.
Do you said last year?
And see what happened last year?
I've been trying to get him out to car events. Trust me, guys. I even tag him on stuff for a reason.
Well, how about this? I'll be at a charity car show here in Glendale this coming Sunday.
What is it?
But not mine.
Giovanna is hosting it. Shout out to Giovanna RG. It is actually, I have it on Instagram somewhere.
That's a nice thing about like people like you guys. This is the way I see it is, what's the point of having a nice car if you can't use it for good? Not just to inspire people, but to bring the people together to be able to give back to the community at the same time.
Here it is. Toy Drive Car Show, Sunday, December 11th, 12 to 3 p.m. across Vertigo Park in Glendale, California, hosted by the Giovanna family. Foundation is with the Glendale Fire Department, and the toys are going to kids, of course, who are needed. If you're going to attend, make sure you bring an unwrapped gift. So,
you know
or
the
gifts.
owners of them?
Huh?
You know the owners of Giovanna Wheels?
I know some of the employees. I mean, I've met the owner maybe once or twice, but I don't have his number. Dico, can I have your number? I'm just joking. Jeremy, you want to add anything before we take off?
I hope I could get you out in 2024, and he can too.
2023.
2023, sorry.
Yeah.
And 2020. Who knows? He probably won't go out next year.
Never know. Never know. But I did promise myself that I would. But Jeremy, thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. And Caesar, thank you. It was always a pleasure having you. And to all the haters that, listening to this and talking shit because we talk shit about sideshows and whatnot, you guys are not true enthusiasts, the way I see it. I don't care what you say. I don't care how good of a build you have. I don't care how much horsepower you have. I don't care what your 0 to 60 is, your quarter mile track, whatever you want to call it. I don't care who you are. You're not a car enthusiast. If you're a real car enthusiast, you would stay away from that shit, and you would encourage your friends to stay away from that shit. And I hope that, maybe this podcast, this one episode can help change one person's mind. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be a car builder, you want to work on cars, you want to see some kind of future, past, present in the car enthusiast world, stop attending.
Yeah, the takeovers are going to wreck it.
Attend a legit show.
Yeah.
A real show.
And for anyone in LA, because, I know that most of the crowd is probably going to be listening from Los Angeles or California. Irwindale does the takeover nights where you can go there and spin your car all day.
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
And you could drag it,
Right
too.
now, box open. $20.
Yeah. And then to drag, it's like what?
Same, 25 or something like that. You go down the track as many times as you want.
Yeah.
Just don't show up in shorts because they will make you buy pants.
Thank you again, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Caesar, thank you.